Hello, everybody, and welcome to Blue Jays Today. We're your boys. We always got something to say about the Toronto Blue Jays. I'm your host, Adam Peddle.
And I'm your host, Nicholas Playlog. And today, guys, we're going to be talking about a few rumblings going on with extensions for these Toronto Blue Jays. That has not been a topic that we've really touched on this offseason yet. And it's not really something that people have been talking about. This is pretty low-key right now, and it's been a recent conversation that has been starting up. Before we do, please hit the like button, smash the subscribe button, and comment your thoughts down below. Catching position. Now, this has always been, or at least for the past few seasons, an area of strength for these Toronto Blue Jays. However, Gabriel Moreno leaves the Toronto Blue Jays. We can go down a rabbit hole about what that trade was.
He's gone. Everyone forget about him. I'm tired of going on Twitter and seeing everybody talking about how we messed up. It's over. It's over.
It is over, right? So you lose that guy. Then you also get a down year from Alejandro Kirk. And you look at the prospect system and you're thinking to yourself, holy crap, there's not a whole lot of youth in the prospect system for these Toronto Blue Jays. So all of that compiled together, you're looking at Danny Jansen and you're thinking to yourself, holy mother of God, maybe we need to get this guy on a long-term contract. And that's exactly what this guy right here, Bo Bichette, was saying.
Yeah, Bo Bichette, he's been on the show back-to-back weeks, so shout out to you, Blue Jays King. He says a Danny Jansen extension is a key priority for the Blue Jays offseason. He's bar none our best game caller, and I do have to agree with him. He is very good at game calling and has the most bop of any remaining MLB catchers. I got to agree with him as well. He's got a lot of pop. Our championship window will likely close a year early, end of 2024, if we don't get this done. And Danny Jansen, he's only got, I believe, about 2 years left. So if you're looking over at Danny Jansen, he's got, oh God, this is, oh yeah, no, it's 2024. 2024. He's got 2 years left. Wait, no.
No, he doesn't.
Oh God,
man. It's 1 year.
2023 is over.
Yeah.
This is it. This is literally it for Danny Jansen, folks. And, I got to agree, man. When you look at, and you reference Gabriel Moreno, when you look at Gabriel Moreno, what did he do to an Arizona Diamondbacks team that didn't have great pitching? And they still kind of didn't. But what did he do? He provided great game calling. And that was in his scouting report with the Toronto Blue Jays. He was very comparable to a Danny Jansen when he was coming up through the system. So having someone like Danny Jansen be the core that all the pitching staff can get around and people trust is very key and very underrated. It's something you don't see on the stat sheet. And he also provides some pop. So is that a priority considering that he's kind of like the next Toronto Blue Jay core member to be leaving the team soon?
Yeah, man. I mean, again, we didn't even realize that this guy only had 1 year left on his contract. That's what I meant when I started this video off, saying that this is like low-key rumblings. Like, why has this not been in the news more? Danny Jansen is really freaking good at baseball. He smacks home runs for these Toronto Blue Jays. And listen, I am the biggest Kirk stan out there. I am the biggest Kirk stan out there. I am all up in Alejandro Kirk and the revenge tour that is going to happen in 2024. But that doesn't mean that I wouldn't like to see Danny Jansen locked into this team for a few more seasons, right? Like it's nice having the luxury of having two catchers who play kind of different roles. Danny Jansen provides the pop, Kirk provides the on base. They can both have good defense, they can both have good framing, but having that veteran of Danny Jansen who's locked in with a few of your starters and can hit for a crap load of slugging and OPS and everything like that. Yeah, man, I don't want to be walking into next offseason with just Kirk on the roster at the catching position. I think we've got to lock this guy down.
You know what? And I don't know what Danny Jansen's even value is even worth. I don't think a lot of MLB teams rate Danny Jansen. You know what I mean? I mean, yeah, he's a good catcher. I think he's known as a good catcher, but I think he's underrated. And I think offering him an extension would be not a bad idea to put 15 to 20 million of your average annual value, because again, you're missing out on the value of a catcher if he's with a team for his entire career. I'm not comparing him to Yadier Molina. I'm not comparing him to Buster Posey. Not comparing him to JT Realmuto. But these are guys who came up with their team and signed and stayed with their team, because I think that team knew the importance of having that catcher be a core member of your team, because he basically controls half your team.
Well, and you build a rapport with these pitchers, right? You build a solid rapport with these guys, and Danny's got a big rapport with basically everybody on that pitching staff. He is definitely a key integral part. You're talking about value, And as you were talking about that, I was thinking about it, and I'm curious to know like what you would be interested in paying him. I mean, 3-year, $45 million, is that doable? Would he accept that, right? Is that possible? You know, if so, I smash the accept button on that.
Yeah.
If it's a little bit more than that, okay, is it a 3-year, $50 million, $60 million? Like, okay, maybe, right? It's like you're looking up JT Realmuto right now, and let's face it, right? Danny Jansen's not going to get paid what JT Realmuto gets paid.
Right.
It is a lesser caliber player, but it is a good benchmark, you know? What, $17 million a year?
17, 18, yeah. You know, a guy, especially in this final year, if he comes out and he slugs again, that value is going to go up. I kind of want to buy him low. Not JT. You got Danny Jansen, who's 28 years old right now.
Yeah.
Younger, way younger than JT Realmuto. And I think Danny Jansen, when healthy, and we haven't seen the full year of healthy Danny Jansen in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
So if you see a full year of healthy Danny Jansen, this year, his value is going to go skyrocketing. Well, this guy's going to hit for an 830 OPS.
He won't be on the Toronto Blue Jays in 2024 or in 2025, excuse me, if you see the full value of Danny Jansen. There's no way, right? Because, he's got to be thinking to himself, okay, I got 1 year left. Nobody's, you know, like, based on what I did last year, I was good, but because I got injured, you know, like if I do it again, I might not get super paid. I got to come out looking elite. And I think the Toronto Blue Jays, you kind of need to beat that. You know, you got to get ahead of the sticks. You got to move the chains a little bit right there. And just know that, okay, Danny Jansen, he's going to have every single incentive to pop off this season. And if he does, there's no way in hell he's going to be on the Toronto Blue Jays anymore. Yeah. So we probably want to lock that down ASAP freaking Rocky.
ASAP. Absolutely. This is the offseason to do it, and we better hear some rumblings about it because, again, this will be the worst case scenario. You have him pop off, great, or even do bad, doesn't matter. He leaves the Toronto Blue Jays. Yeah. Now you have 2 years of Kirk left to run this team, and, you know, we've talked about many a times the window closing. Not saying that Kirk's going to be the end of the window, but if Kirk doesn't bounce back, if he struggles, maybe he can't catch up with the rest of the league for whatever reason, and he struggles, we go from having one of the best catching tandems. You know, last year we had these two and then Gabriel Moreno right in the wings. So one of probably maybe the worst if Kirk is going to struggle.
And that's the thing.
You know
that would be in the course of what? Like 2 years time, right? It's just like, you know, you lose all of this value. No, I completely agree, dude. So Danny Jansen, I completely agree with Bo Bichette there. Danny Jansen extension is prime this off season. Now, we would be remiss if we didn't bring up the two big guys, considering we're talking about extensions right now. Guerrero and Bashet.
Whoa, time for your daily Betway breather. A quick reminder that the best place to bet is on Betway. Must be 19 years of age or older to play. In collaboration with iGaming Ontario, please bet responsibly. Now, back to the content.
Different situations from Danny Jansen, right? They're not on their final year, but they're getting relatively close. Guerrero has 2 years left. Bichette has 2 years.
Yeah.
Holy mother of God. 2 years left on both of these players. And radio silence, basically, from the front office on whether or not they're going to get extended. Guerrero, quick thoughts on Guerrero extension this offseason. I'm thinking no.
Not happening, man. You need to see a good year this year.
Yeah.
If you don't see a good year in 2024, I think that conversation still stays silent. I think it opens up to, all right, Guerrero, you have 1 year left. We want you, but we need you at this low price, and he's not going to like it, right? So on that end, unless he pops off, right, like he's probably going to get a low-end deal. But if he does pop off, I think you are more comfortable raising the price a bit. Now, Bashet, you tell me about this. He did get an extension, quote-unquote extension, because it's just he's paying for the rest of his arbitration years. Right. So he's got 2 years left, but that doesn't mean you can't offer an extension beyond that. He's the obvious dude.
Well, it's interesting, right? Because the Blue Jays are in a situation where the mentality might be shifting a little bit. You know, like Danny Jansen's not necessarily part of like these two guys. These two guys have always been considered to be like the franchise players for the Jays. And for the longest time, it was Guerrero over Bichette on the pecking order. You know, everybody thought, well, when it comes extension time, they're going to get Vlad's deal done first. And then if they have the money, they'll get Bichette's deal done. Or if not, he will sadly need to walk. Now, you know, you might be seeing a little bit of a shift right there where, considering Bichette has been as consistent as all holy hell, he's coming off of a very good year, the best hitter on the Toronto Blue Jays, in my opinion anyways, right? you might see a little bit of a shift there from the Blue Jays saying, well, Bichette's putting in all the work.
Yeah.
We've seen the defensive improvements.
Yep.
So on that standpoint, he's following that game plan. Right, still not perfect, but we're seeing the improvements.
You can compare it, and it's a little bit better.
Literally, right? So it's like he's definitely improving in that regard. This is a guy that we might want to build around, right? But it's putting them in a hard position because if you go and you pay Bo Bichette and then Guerrero does have a big year, you can't pay Guerrero anymore, right? So I think that is maybe what's holding them back right now from going and doing this because they don't want to lose Vlad after he bounces back this season because they don't have enough money. But at the same point, you also don't want to lose Bo or let both of them get to the final year of your deal because if I'm one of those guys in the final year of my deal, I might just want to ride this thing out and see who gives me the most money in free agency.
Here's what I think you do as a Toronto Blue Jays. Here's your plan. You sign Danny Jansen to an extension because it's not going to be at the level of those two guys. You get him the extension to help your team moving forward because you still look at the pitching staff. That window is pretty long. So you want to have him at least kind of extended to finish that window off. So you extend Danny Jansen. Great. Core. He's a core piece. He's there. And then you wait till this next offseason. You don't, because again, I agree with you. You don't want to run into that situation. You satisfied Bo last offseason by guaranteeing him money.
Yeah.
He's good. He doesn't need an extension right away. He's got 2 more years left. Whereas Vladdy needs to prove it. There's a little bit more pressure. So he's going to get paid like $20 million arbitration anyway, so he'll be fine.
Yeah.
So you see what happens this year. If you get a big blow up, then you have some conversations this offseason. Okay, do we offer Vlad the money? Does it start to change? Or if you see Bo Bichette doing it well, do we go with the reliable piece? I'm still going with the reliable piece, right? But you got to see what happens this next season as they both get a year older. If Vlad doesn't blow up, well then bam, easy. Bo, you get the extension. Vlad, we'll see what happens in your final year.
It's very scary because with the way that things are shaping up, it's likely actually that I think that you're going to see Bo Bichette and Guerrero get to their final year with the Toronto Blue Jays without an extension. Yeah. And I do think that if that happens, I don't think that both of them are coming back. I just think that it's a lot of work to do. There's a lot of management. There's a lot of stuff that needs to happen to get 2 big deals like that done with 1 year left. And I mean, you're dealing with 2 guys with big egos. With 2 guys with big egos who are have whoever their agent is. I don't know if one of them is represented by Scott Bush or not. Whoever their agent is in their year saying 12 months from now. 12 months from now, you put up a good year. 12 months from now, the Dodgers are going to be knocking. The Mets are going to be knocking. Right? I mean, it's going to be very difficult, I think, if you're the Toronto Blue Jays, to get both of them back, assuming you make it to that place.
Yeah, at this point, folks, I don't think we're going to get both of them back. At this rate, it looks like we're getting one. Because, again, you got the performance issues kind of like sprinkled in there. Like, it just seems most likely we're probably going to get one. We probably can't afford both. And depending on this offseason, right, we've talked about it before, if we do go out and make a big signing to get a longer window like Ross Atkins or Mark Shapiro was saying, well then, maybe we can't. We can only get one.
Holy shit, man. This was a Danny Jansen video that
and it turned into
a freaking revelation right now. My goodness gracious. 2 years left in the window, everybody. Let's get it done. Toronto Blue Jays. Folks, let us know your thoughts in the comments down below about a Danny Jansen extension, about a Bo Bichette extension, about a Vladimir Guerrero Jr. extension. I want to know all your thoughts down below.
Yeah, guys, and it's $3 a month to become a Patreon member. Shout out and thank you to all of our current Patreon members and as well our YouTube members. Big shout out to all of y'all. You are absolute legends.
Thank you so much for watching.
And go Jays, go!